Hey, Hannah1 here, and as you can see I'm doing another papier-mâché video. This time I am making a papier-mâché train conductor. This is just because it's my granddad's birthday, or it would have been my granddad's birthday a little while ago as you're seeing this, but when I was filming this it was about to be my granddad's birthday, so I wanted to make him a little present. So I make some papier-mâché by mixing shredded paper, flour, water and salt together. And I then just massage it until it becomes a workable thing. And then I roll it into a ball to start forming out the head for the train conductor. I wasn't basing this on anyone specific, I just kind of Google image searched old-fashioned train conductor and just used references from what I saw. I'm using papier-mâché to build out some of the basic, plane changes of the face, so where the brow goes above and below the eyes, the nose and the chin, some of the basic forms of the face. And I build out the cheeks, and I'm sorry it's incredibly blurry, but I build up the cheeks and add on ears. I then add on little pieces for the rest of the forms, building out the chin and all that. I push out the mouth using the handle of a paintbrush, and I build out the eyeballs. And I add on pieces for the hair, which are just flat pieces around the sides and back. I didn't want any hair at the front because he's supposed to be getting older and losing some of the hair in the middle, but most of that is hidden by this hat that I added on, which is just a cylinder of papier-mâché without much definition. But it helped out, and I added on a little rim to make it more clear that it was a hat. And it matched the uniform that the train conductors in the images had. I make the limbs by rolling out long, thin pieces and just melding them together. The arms I do at near 90-degree angles, just over 90-degree angles. And the legs I just do straight, because I wanted him to be stood up. And it was supposed to be he's cooling out the bus as he's looking at a pocket watch is my intention for the end design. Normally I like to do a more dynamic pose, but for this one, having him stood up straight is perfectly adequate and it fits quite well with what I'm going for. Him being an older character, he's not going to be doing the splits. I then take some more papier-mâché to make hands, but this is the first hand, I'll do the other one later. And I just do it almost in a fist because he's holding a pocket watch. By just folding over the pieces, I can make fingers. I add on the neck, and then I add on the head. To make papier-mâché stickier, just add more of the flour water solution than you do the paper. The more you add flour and water, the stickier it becomes. I build out the feet using more papier-mâché. And here is where I do the other hand, which is pointing as though he's gesturing all aboard or whatever they say. I don't know. So I build up the hand, and then I start adding some definition to the chest because people don't tend to have perfectly flat chests. I then add some definition to the trousers just to make it look more realistic because people don't have perfectly flat from their neck to their legs. They do have some muscles and places where the pants are pulled tighter around certain forms. And I add on the hands in much the same way I add on the head, just added a glob of extra sticky papier-mâché. And then I add on the other hand in the same way. I do the same process of building up the muscle forms on the back. And then I define the top of the trousers with another strip of paper, and I do where the two sides of his jacket or waistcoat overlap in the same fashion, just by adding pieces of paper and blending in one side. And I decide to add these pieces to blend it out to make it so the coat comes over the rest of the form because it's longer than his torso is, so it has to cover part of the legs, and I go all the way around with that. And I blend it out just by putting papier-mâché on my finger and just blobbing it on. I add some little buttons. I add 6 buttons in this 2x3 row. This just seemed a common thing that I saw. And then to make a base, I take 2 pieces of cardboard and glue them together. And I just decide to cover up the holes around the edge by putting on small pieces of paper. It just looks a lot more professional to have that done properly. I stuck the shiny sides together just because they're harder to paint, and I wanted to save myself a step, So I stuck those on the inside. It was a lot easier. And then I glued this guy on. I just stuck him on and then I propped him up until he finished drying. Luckily his centre of balance is pretty normal, so it's not like it's had any risk of falling over. It's pretty solid. And then I start painting his uniform, this midnight blue colour. And I think this looks pretty cool. It might be a bit lighter than I was intending, but when it dried it actually looked really good. And it matched the colour that I was going for pretty well. I gave him the blue uniform, which is what I saw most of the train conductor references I saw them wearing, but honestly it made this guy look like an elderly version of Postman Pat. But I don't know, I think it helped. And I give him grey hair because he's older. Grey but almost white hair because, it's not like a dark grey. And I give him black, like slightly lighter than, like very, very dark grey trousers. Just because if it's perfectly black then it can lose definition, so making it a slightly grey colour can help with that. I do a skin tone, which is a muted beige colour, which works pretty well. And I do that over the face and the hands as well, obviously. I just kind of glob that on and it looks really cool. I'm really happy with this. Having it slightly muted also adds to the older, like discoloured look to make him look more elderly. I had some gold accents on the hat in this metallic colour. These metallic paints are really cool. I do the buttons in the same gold colour, as well as the stopwatch or the pocket watch in his hand. I do a band of gold all the way around on the hat. I do this a bit messily, but I just touch it up by going over with the blue after the gold is dried. I give him a little black tie, which I think is pretty cute, and I colour the inside of his mouth black just to make it look darker in there. It looks a bit weird. And then I go over around the edges, tidying it up. I draw a little clock face, I just do that white for now, later on I can add more detail. I do the whites of the eyes and then I give him dark blue eyes to match his uniform. And this is where I add in the hands on the clock, which I think is a really cute detail. I do the base in this purplish brown colour. It contrasts nicely to the design of the piece, but it doesn't take anything away from it. I give him grey eyebrows to match his hair, obviously, and I give him his pupils, which honestly his eyes are so dark it's not overly noticeable. But I add some pink blush to his face just to add some variation. Then I cover the entire thing in Mod Podge. You can see I got a new tub of this if you've been following my channel. But yeah, I go over the entire thing in Mod Podge just to protect it and make sure everything stays situated nicely. It just makes everything feel more solid and more professionally done. And it really makes a big difference. So yeah, definitely do this, especially as a gift. I didn't resin glaze it because I didn't think it needed it, but yeah, I just Mod Podged it. If you can also resin glaze. And this is the final piece. I think it looks really cool. I like it a lot, and I can tell you my granddad was very happy with it. And yeah, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye!